The rain was so heavy I couldn't see 3 feet ahead. Thunder cracked overhead like the world was splitting in two. I was standing on the sidewalk outside our apartment, soaked to the bone, my hand pressed against my belly. 7 weeks pregnant. And he was loading the last box into his car. Please. My voice barely cut through the storm. Just talk to me. Please. He didn't even look up. Just slammed the trunk shut. Water dripped from his hair, his jacket, his hands. We stood there, 5 feet apart, drowning in rain and silence. And then he said it. The words that would echo in my head for years. I can't do this. I'm sorry. That was it. No explanation. No discussion. Just, I can't do this. Like our child was a project he was opting out of. Like I was a burden he was finally shedding. I watched his taillights disappear into the rain. Watched until they were just red blurs swallowed by darkness. And then I collapsed. Right there on the wet pavement. Hands on my stomach. Rain mixing with tears. I don't know how long I sat there. Long enough that my neighbor found me. Long enough that I was shaking so hard I couldn't stand. She helped me inside. Wrapped me in blankets. Made me tea I couldn't drink. What happened? She kept asking. But I couldn't speak. Because speaking made it real. And I wasn't ready for it to be real. That night I lay in our bed. His side still smelled like him. His pillow still had the indent of his head. I curled into myself, hand on my belly, and whispered to the tiny life inside me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because what kind of mother lets their child's father leave? What kind of woman can't keep a man long enough to meet his own child? I felt like a failure before I even started. Like I had already let my baby down. The rain didn't stop. It pounded against the windows all night. Relentless. Loud. Matching the storm inside my chest. I didn't sleep. Couldn't sleep. Just lay there, listening to the thunder, thinking, how did we get here? 2 months ago we were planning a future. Talking about baby names, painting nurseries in our minds, laughing about whose eyes the baby would have. And now I was alone. In an apartment that suddenly felt too big and too empty. With a life growing inside me that would never know its father. My phone lit up on the nightstand. A text from my best friend. You okay? Haven't heard from you. I stared at the message. How do you answer that? How do you say, the father of my child abandoned me in a thunderstorm and I don't know if I'll survive this? I didn't answer. Just turned the phone face down and pulled the blanket over my head. But here's what he didn't know. What he couldn't have known as he drove away through that rain. Thinking he was escaping, thinking he was free. He wasn't just leaving me. He was giving up the best thing that would ever happen to him. And I was about to become the strongest version of myself I'd ever been. Because when you're left in the rain with nothing but a promise growing inside you, you have 2 choices. You drown, or you learn to dance in the storm. I wasn't ready yet, but I would be. We met on a Tuesday. Not a special Tuesday. Just a regular ordinary Tuesday at a bookstore downtown. I was 28, working 2 jobs, barely keeping my head above water. Student loans crushing me. Rent eating half my paycheck. Dreams filed away in a drawer labeled, someday. I was browsing the psychology section, looking for something to make sense of my mess of a life, when he reached for the same book. Good choice, he said, smiling. He had one of those smiles that felt like sunlight. Warm. Easy. That book changed my perspective on everything. We talked for 20 minutes standing between those shelves. About books, about life, about the weather and nothing at all. When he asked for my number, I actually hesitated. I'd been hurt before. Promised things that never came. But something in his eyes made me say yes. Our first date was at a tiny Italian restaurant. He showed up with flowers. Yellow roses. Not red, he explained. Red is too obvious. Yellow means friendship. I want to be your friend first. I fell a little bit in love with him right then. The first year was magic. The kind of magic you read about but never think you'll actually experience. Morning text. Surprise coffee deliveries at my job. Long walks where we talked until the streetlights came on. He made me feel seen, heard, valued. For the first time in my life, I felt like someone actually chose me. Not settled for me. Chose me. He moved into my apartment after 8 months. It was small, barely enough room for one person, but we made it work. He'd cook while I studied for my certification exam. I'd massage his shoulders when he came home stressed from work. We had Friday movie nights where we'd argue over what to watch and end up falling asleep on the couch together. We talked about the future like it was a guarantee. Like we had already signed the contract and just needed to show up. When we have kids, he'd say, I want 3. Full house. Chaos and love everywhere. I'd laugh, tell him 2 was plenty. He'd kiss my forehead. Whatever you want, baby. As long as they're ours. Year 2 started to crack. Small fractures I told myself didn't matter. He stopped texting as much. Worked later. Came home tired, distant, different. When I'd ask what was wrong, he'd say nothing in a voice that clearly meant everything. But I didn't push. Didn't want to be that girlfriend. The nagging one. The insecure one. I found out I was pregnant on a Wednesday morning. I'd been feeling off for weeks. Nauseous. Exhausted. Emotional. When those 2 lines appeared, my hand shook so hard I dropped the test in the sink. I sat on the bathroom floor for 30 minutes, just staring at it. Terrified. Excited. Confused. Everything all at once. I planned how to tell him. Bought a little onesie that said, "Best daddy ever." Made his favorite dinner. Waited for the perfect moment. When he walked in that night, I was so nervous I could barely breathe. I have something to tell you, I said, holding the onesie behind my back. He didn't smile. Didn't ask what. Just looked at me with tired eyes and said, "Can it wait? I had a really long day." "It's important," he sighed. Sat down heavily on the couch. "Okay. What?" I showed him the onesie. Watched his face for the joy, the shock, the excitement I'd imagined 1,000 times. Instead, I watched it drain of color. Watched something behind his eyes shut down completely. "You're pregnant," he said. Not a question. A statement. Flat. Me. "Yes. 7 weeks. I know it's unexpected, but—" "I need to think," he interrupted. Stood up. Walked to the bedroom. Closed the door. I stood there holding that onesie, staring at the closed door, feeling the first crack in my heart. He didn't come out that night. Slept on the far side of the bed with his back to me. And I knew. Even before he left. He knew. The next 2 weeks were torture. He barely spoke. Barely looked at me. Started staying out later. Packing things into boxes. Just to organize. I pretended not to notice. Pretended we were fine. Pretended my world wasn't actively collapsing. And then came that Thursday. The rain. Boxes. The end. I should have seen it coming. All the signs were there. But love makes you blind. Makes you hopeful when you should be realistic. Makes you believe in fairy tales when you're living in a tragedy. As I sat there that night, soaked and broken, I realized something. I never really knew him. I knew the version he showed me. The mask he wore. The role he played. But the real him. The him that could abandon a pregnant woman in a storm. That was a stranger. And I was carrying a stranger's child. Before everything shattered, I had a life I was proud of. Not perfect. Not glamorous. But mine. I was a kindergarten teacher. 23 5-year-olds who called me Miss Sarah and drew me crayon pictures of sunshine and families holding hands. Every morning I'd tie tiny shoes, wipe tiny tears, and watch tiny humans discover the world. It didn't pay much, but it filled something in me that money never could. I had my own apartment. Studio, 4th floor, no elevator. The building was old, the plumbing was loud, but it was the first place that was truly mine. I'd saved for 2 years for the deposit. Painted the walls myself. Hung curtains I'd found at a thrift store. Every scratch, every imperfection told a story of me building something from nothing. My mornings had rhythm. Wake up at 6. Coffee on the balcony watching the city wake up. Shower. Pick out an outfit that inevitably got covered in paint or glitter or applesauce by noon. Walk 15 minutes to the school, earbuds in, whatever music matched my mood. I had girls' night every other Friday. Me, Jenna, and Lisa. We'd known each other since high school. Survived bad boyfriends, worse jobs, family drama, and everything in between together. We'd rotate hosting, make too much food, drink too much wine, and laugh until our stomachs hurt. They were my sisters in every way that mattered. Sundays were sacred. Call my mom. Every single Sunday at 2 o'clock. She lived 3 states away, battling arthritis and loneliness since Dad passed. Those calls were the highlight of her week. We talk about everything and nothing. She'd ask about my love life. I deflect. She'd tell me stories about the neighbors. I pretend to be interested. But really we were just saying, I love you. Miss you. I'm still here. I took dance classes on Wednesday nights. Tulsa. I was terrible at it, always a half beat behind, but I didn't care. For 1 hour a week I got to be someone different. Someone confident and sexy and free. The instructor Miguel would always say, "Sarah, you think too much. Feel the music." I never could. But I kept trying. My life had texture. Had routine. Had people and places and small joys that added up to something meaningful. I wasn't rich. Wasn't successful by society's standards. But I was content. I was building toward something. Promotion at work. Maybe saving for a small house. Taking that trip to Ireland I'd been dreaming about since college. And then he came into my life. And for a while everything got brighter. He'd show up at my classroom door with lunch. Leave sticky notes on my bathroom mirror. "You're beautiful. Don't forget it." Integrate himself so seamlessly into my world that I couldn't remember what it looked like without him. My kids loved him. On the day he volunteered for our field trip to the zoo, they swarmed him like he was a celebrity. "Miss Sarah, is he your boyfriend?" They'd whisper, giggling. Blush. He'd wink. Felt like a preview of the future. Him, me, our own kids someday. Family. My friends approved. "He's different," Jenna said after meeting him the first time. "He actually listens when you talk." Lisa agreed. "Don't mess this up, Sarah. He's a keeper." Even my mom, skeptical of every man I'd ever dated, softened when she met him over video chat. "He has kind eyes," she said. "Hold on to this one." I built my entire life around the assumption that he was permanent. Turned down a job offer in another city because he was here. Skipped my college reunion because he wanted me to meet his family that weekend. Let him move into my tiny apartment even though it meant giving up my sacred space. Sacrificed. Small things I told myself didn't matter. Stopped going to dance class because he thought it was weird. Saw my friends less because he preferred us spending time alone. Changed my coffee order because he said the one I liked was too sweet. Little pieces of myself I carved away. Thinking I was compromising. Thinking that's what love meant. The night before he left, we had dinner at the kitchen table. Pasta with marinara sauce. Garlic bread. Nothing special. He was quiet, pushing food around his plate. Asked if everything was okay. He said yes. But his eyes said goodbye. I just didn't know how to read it yet. I washed the dishes while he sat on the couch scrolling through his phone. I remember looking at him through the doorway, thinking, this is my future. This man. This life. Child. I went to bed that night wrapped in certainty. Woke up the next morning wrapped in doubt. And by nightfall, I was drowning in rain and abandonment and the realization that everything I thought was solid was actually built on sand. Had a life. Good life. And he took it apart piece by piece without me even noticing until there was nothing left but fragments. The first person I told was my principal. Mrs. Henderson. 30 years in education, seen everything. I knocked on her office door 3 days after he left. My eyes were still swollen. I hadn't slept. Hadn't eaten. Could barely function. Sarah, come in. Sit down. She could see it on my face. The devastation. What's wrong? I'm pregnant. The words fell out like stones. And I'm alone. She didn't ask questions. Didn't pry. Just handed me tissues and said, take the week off, babe. Get yourself together. But getting together wasn't possible when everything was falling apart. I went home to an apartment that smelled like him. His cologne lingering in the bathroom. His coffee mug still in the sink. I couldn't breathe. Literally couldn't breathe. My chest felt crushed. I called Jenna sobbing so hard I hyperventilated. He left. I'm pregnant. He just left. She showed up 20 minutes later with Lisa. Found me on the floor surrounded by his things. A shirt he forgot. A book he was reading. Evidence of a life that vanished overnight. They didn't tell me it would be okay. They knew better. They just sat with me on that floor and let me break. What am I going to do? Kept asking. What am I going to do? Nobody had an answer. The next day I tried to call him. Rang. And rang. And rang. Ismail. Please, I said into the recording. Please just talk to me. We can figure this out. I'm scared. Need you. Our baby needs you. He never called back. I texted him. Paragraphs. Desperate, rambling paragraphs. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But we can do this. Together. Please don't throw us away. Please. Read. No response. I sent 20 more messages over 3 days. Begging. Pleading. Bargaining. Until finally one response. I need space. Stop contacting me. He needed space. While I was growing his child inside my body. While my entire world was imploding. He needed space. I stopped eating. Couldn't keep anything down. Morning sickness mixed with heartbreak is a special kind of hell. I lost 8 pounds in 2 weeks. My doctor threatened to hospitalize me if I didn't start eating. So I forced down crackers and water and pretended it was enough. Work became torture. Smiling at 5-year-olds when I wanted to scream. Reading stories about happy families when mine was destroyed before it began. During nap time, I'd hide in the supply closet and cry into paper towels so the kids wouldn't hear. One of my students, Emma, drew me a picture. Her family. Mom, dad, baby brother, dog. She handed it to me so proudly. This is my family, Miss Sarah. Do you have a family? I stared at that drawing and felt something inside me shatter all over again. Yes, sweetie. I do. But I didn't. Not really. Not anymore. The bills started piling up. Rent was due. Utilities. Credit cards. Everything was in both our names, but only my money was paying them. I called the landlord. My boyfriend moved out. Can I break the lease? 6 months rent as penalty. 6 months I didn't have. I was trapped in an apartment full of ghosts. I tried to reach out to his family. His mother. The woman who'd hugged me and called me daughter at Thanksgiving. Called her. Hi, Mrs. Peterson. It's Sarah. I don't know if you know, but your son and we're having a baby. And he left. I just thought you should. He told me, she interrupted. Cold. Distant. Nothing like the woman I knew. He said you trapped him. Got pregnant on purpose to keep him. The words hit me like physical blows. Trapped him. On purpose. Like I orchestrated this. Like I wanted to be a single mother struggling to survive. That's not. I would never. I have to go, Sarah. I hope you figure things out. Blick. I sat holding the phone, stunned. Not only had he abandoned me, he'd poisoned everyone against me. Made me the villain in a story where I was actually the victim. My mom called that night. Sunday at 2 o'clock. A ritual. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? And I broke. Told her everything. The pregnancy. The abandonment. The fear. The shame. She cried. Then she got angry. That coward. That absolute coward. You come home. Right now. Pack your things and come home. I can't, Mom. Have my job. My life is here. What life? The one he destroyed. Sarah, you need help. You need family. She was right. But admitting it meant admitting defeat. Meant accepting that I couldn't do this alone. And my pride, battered and bruised as it was, wouldn't let me surrender yet. 3 weeks after he left, I saw him. At a grocery store. He was with a woman. Blonde. Laughing. She touched his arm the way I used to. They looked happy, carefree, like he hadn't just destroyed someone's entire world. I stood there in the frozen food aisle, holding a pint of ice cream, visibly pregnant, watching the man I loved play pretend with someone new. He saw me. Eyes met. And you know what he did? He turned away, grabbed her hand, and walked in the other direction. Like I was nothing. Like we were nothing. Like the child in my belly was invisible. I left my cart in the middle of the aisle and ran to my car, locked the doors, and screamed. Screamed until my throat was raw. Screamed until security knocked on my window asking if I was okay. I wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. And I didn't know if it ever would be again. That night, I stood in my bathroom holding a bottle of sleeping pills, staring at them, thinking about how easy it would be to just stop hurting, stop struggling, stop feeling like a burden on a world that clearly didn't want me. I opened the bottle, poured them into my palm, counted them. Enough. And then I felt it flutter, so small I almost missed it. My baby. Moving. Living. Depending on me. I dropped those pills like they were burning, watched them scatter across the bathroom floor. And I fell to my knees and sobbed. I'm sorry, I whispered to my belly. I'm so sorry. I won't give up. Promise. I won't give up on you. But God, I wanted to. I went back to work. Couldn't afford not to. But I was a shell of myself. Kids noticed. Miss Sarah, why are you sad? Tommy asked during circle time. 22 little faces staring at me, waiting for an answer. I forced a smile. I'm not sad, buddy. Just tired. My mommy gets tired when she's sad, he said, so matter of fact. 5 years old and already wiser than me. I made it through that day. Barely. Locked myself in my car during lunch and cried into a sandwich I couldn't eat. Checked my phone obsessively. No messages. No calls. He'd ghosted me completely. Like I was some one-night stand instead of the woman carrying his child. 12 weeks I had my first ultrasound. Alone. The waiting room was full of couples. Holding hands. Whispering excitedly. Rubbing bellies. I sat in the corner with my coat wrapped tight, trying to make myself invisible. Sarah Thompson. The nurse called. I followed her back. Changed into the gown. Lay on that cold table with warm gel on my stomach. And then I heard it. The heartbeat. Fast and strong and so impossibly real. The technician smiled. Want to know the sex? I hadn't thought about it. Hadn't let myself think beyond surviving each day. Yes. It's a boy. Boy. I was having a son. A little boy who would never meet his father. Who would grow up asking questions I didn't know how to answer. I should have been happy. Instead I felt terror. They printed pictures. Little gray blobs that somehow looked like a person. I sat in my car staring at them. My son. Real. Alive. Depending entirely on me. And I was broke, alone and falling apart. I tried to file for child support. Spent 3 hours at the courthouse filling out forms. The clerk looked at me with pity that made my skin crawl. Do you have his current address? No. He moved. I don't know where. Place of employment. He quit. Started a new job. I don't know where. She sighed. Without that information, we can't serve him papers. You'll need to hire a lawyer to track him down. That'll cost. How much? $3,000 minimum. Maybe more. $3,000 I didn't have. I left that courthouse feeling more helpless than when I walked in. The system was supposed to protect women like me. Instead, it was just another door slammed in my face. My credit card got declined buying groceries. $43. Declined. I stood there as the cashier ran it again. Declined. The line behind me growing. People sighing. Judging. I pulled out my last 20, grabbed what I could afford, and left the rest. That night I ate ramen noodles. Again. 60 cents a pack. That's what my life had become. Counting pennies. Choosing between gas and food. Watching my bank account drain while my belly grew. I applied for government assistance, WIC, food stamps, Medicaid, sat in a crowded office for 4 hours waiting for my number to be called. The woman processing my application barely looked at me. Annual income, 28,000. Assets, a 7-year-old car worth maybe $2,000. You qualify. Here's your card. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt shame. Deep burning shame. I had a college degree, career, and I was on food stamps at 29 years old. Jenna invited me to her engagement party. I wanted to be happy for her, wanted to celebrate. But watching her show off her ring, talk about wedding plans, gush about her future while mine was crumbling felt like torture. You'll come to the wedding, right? She asked. You can bring the baby. How cute would that be? I calculated in my head. Her wedding was 6 months away. I'd have a 3-month-old. No money for a dress. No money for a gift. No energy to pretend I was okay. Of course, I lied. Wouldn't miss it. But I knew I would. Knew I was already starting to disappear from their lives. The broken friend. The single mom. The cautionary tale. 16 weeks I started showing. Really showing. Couldn't hide it anymore. Strangers in elevators would smile and ask, "When are you due?" To answer. They'd follow up with, "Is this your first? Your husband must be so excited." And there it was. The assumption. Knife. Every single time. I started lying. Yes, he is. Easier than explaining. Easier than seeing their faces change from warm to pitying. Easier than being reminded every single day that I failed at the most basic thing. Keeping a man long enough to meet his own child. My landlord raised my rent. $200 more a month. Market rate, he said, shrugging like it was nothing. Like it wouldn't bankrupt me. I begged him to reconsider. Explained my situation. He looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but business is business. I couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford to move either. I was stuck, trapped, drowning in a life I didn't choose and couldn't escape. One night, Lisa came over with Chinese food. We ate straight from the containers, sitting on my floor. She didn't ask how I was. She knew better. Instead, she said, "Remember sophomore year when you failed that chemistry final?" I didn't fail. I got a C-. Same thing. You were convinced your life was over. That you'd never get into a good college. Never succeed. Remember what you did. I did remember. I'd retaken the class. Studied obsessively. Ended with an A. I fought back. Exactly. You fought back. That's what you're going to do now. But this wasn't a chemistry test. This was my life. My child. And fighting back felt impossible when I could barely stand. At 18 weeks, I felt my son kick. Really kick. I was washing dishes, water running, and suddenly there it was. Thump. Then another. I stood completely still, hands covered in soap, crying happy tears for the first time in months. "Hi, baby," I whispered. "I feel you. I feel you fighting." And maybe that was the problem. He was fighting, growing, surviving, and I was just existing, barely holding on, barely functioning. He deserved better. Deserved a mother who had her life together, who could provide, who wasn't drowning in debt and depression and regret. But he got me, and I had to find a way to be enough, even when I felt like nothing. 23 weeks, I stopped pretending I was okay. I called in sick to work, then called in sick again, and again. By the 3rd week, Mrs. Henderson called me. "Sarah, I need you to come in. We need to talk." I knew what that meant. I was being replaced. Not fired because that would look bad. But gently pushed aside. Given extended leave. Which was just a nice way of saying, "We can't count on you anymore." I sat in her office, belly round and obvious, while she used every euphemism in the book. "You need time to focus on your health." Translation, "You're a liability. We've found a wonderful substitute." Translation, "Someone more reliable. Your job will be here when you're ready." Translation, "Maybe." I cleaned out my desk that afternoon. Pictures, supplies, cards from students. "We love you, Miss Sarah," in crayon. I held it together until I got to my car. Then I shattered. No job meant no income. No income meant no apartment. No apartment meant what? Moving back with my mom 3 states away. Becoming homeless. Giving my baby up because I couldn't provide. That night I didn't sleep. Just lay in bed doing math. Savings account. $400. Credit cards. Maxed. Last paycheck. Covered rent barely. Hospital bill for delivery. Estimated $8,000 without insurance. Formula diapers, clothes, crib, thousands more. And that was just the first year. The numbers didn't work. No matter how many times I calculated, they didn't work. I was going to fail. I was going to bring a child into this world and fail him spectacularly. I stopped answering my phone. Jenna called. Lisa called. My mom called twice a day. I let them all go to voicemail. Couldn't bear to hear their voices, their concern, their pity, their unspoken judgment. How did you let this happen? I stopped showering, stopped cooking, lived on crackers and water. My apartment became a cave I couldn't leave. Curtains drawn, lights off. Just me and my growing belly and the crushing weight of knowing I was in over my head. At 25 weeks, I ran out of prenatal vitamins. Couldn't afford more. The pharmacy wanted $32. I had 20. The pharmacist suggested I prioritize better, as if I was choosing to be poor, as if poverty was a moral failing instead of a circumstance. I walked out of that pharmacy and sat on the curb outside. 29 years old, college educated, and I couldn't afford $32 for vitamins my baby needed to be healthy. What kind of mother was I? My mom showed up unannounced. Drove 6 hours because I wouldn't answer her calls. Found me in pajamas at 3 in the afternoon. Apartment filthy. Fridge empty. I saw her face when she walked in. The shock. The heartbreak. The anger. Sarah Marie Thompson. Full name. Never good. What are you doing to yourself? I can't do this, Mom. First time I'd said it out loud. I can't be a single mother. I'm not strong enough. I'm not capable enough. I'm going to ruin this child's life. She sat next to me on that dirty couch. Put her arm around me. You listened to me. Your father left when you were 2 years old. Did I fall apart? I'd never thought about it. My mom's story. How she'd raised me alone. You had help. Grandma and Grandpa. We're 6 states away. Just like I am for you now. I did it alone, Sarah. Worked 2 jobs. Ate cereal for dinner so you could have meat. Wore the same 3 outfits for 2 years so you could have new school clothes. And you know what? We survived. Better than survived. We thrived. But I'm not you. No. You're better. You're educated. You're capable. You're just scared. And that's okay. But you don't get to quit. That baby inside you doesn't get a say in who his mother is. He gets you. And you need to decide right now if you're going to rise to that or crumble under it. Her words felt like a slap. A necessary one. But still painful. I don't know how to rise. I'm drowning, Mom. Then let me throw you a rope. Move home. Live with me until you get on your feet. I'll help with the baby. You can find work. Build savings. Start over. Pride made me want to refuse. Made me want to prove I could do it alone. But pride doesn't feed babies. Doesn't pay rent. Doesn't keep you alive. Okay, I whispered. Okay. That night, after Mom went to a hotel, I stood in my bathroom mirror for the first time in weeks. Really looked at myself. Greasy hair. Dark circles. Hollow eyes. A ghost of the woman I used to be. But my belly was round. Full of life. Full of my son who was growing despite my failings. Who was fighting to be born even though I'd been too weak to fight for him. I put my hand on my stomach. Felt him kick. Strong. Determined. Alive. I'm sorry, I told him. I'm sorry I've been so weak. But I'm done. I'm done giving up. I'm done letting him win. Your father walked away. But I won't. Promise you, baby. I promise I won't. It wasn't a triumphant moment, wasn't inspirational music and sudden strength. It was just a broken woman making a promise to her unborn child in a dirty bathroom at 2 in the morning. But promises matter, especially when they're all you have left. I started packing the next day, called my landlord, broke my lease, paid the penalty with my mom's help, sold everything that didn't fit in my car, furniture, kitchen stuff, decorations, things I'd collected building a life I thought would last. The night before I left, I drove past the bookstore where we met, the restaurant where we had our first date, the park where he told me he loved me. I said goodbye to a version of myself that believed in fairy tales, that believed love was enough, that believed men keep their promises. That girl died in the rain the night he left. What was left was someone harder, someone who understood that survival isn't pretty, isn't romantic, isn't what you see in movies. Survival is eating ramen for months, is swallowing your pride, is asking for help when everything in you wants to prove you don't need it, is getting up every morning even when staying in bed feels like the only option. I loaded my car at dawn, everything I owned in a Honda Civic. Mom followed in her car. As I pulled away from that apartment, I looked in the rearview mirror one last time. I wasn't running away. I was running toward help, toward family, toward a chance to rebuild. And deep in my chest, beneath all the pain and fear and exhaustion, something pulsed. Stubborn, unbreakable. There was hope, and it was enough. My mom's house smelled like cinnamon and old memories. The same wallpaper from my childhood, the same creaky floorboards, the same safe haven I'd run from at 18, swearing I'd make it on my own. Now I was back, pregnant, broke, defeated. Your room is exactly how you left it, Mom said, carrying in a box. My childhood room, twin bed, posters of bands I'd outgrown, a bookshelf full of dreams I'd packed away. I sat on that bed and felt like I was 17 again. Except 17-year-old me had hope, had plans, had a future that looked bright. 29-year-old me had a belly full of baby and a heart full of failure. The first week, I barely left my room. Mom brought me food, sat with me, didn't push, just existed alongside my grief. Because that's what it was. Grief. For the life I'd planned, the man I'd loved, the family I'd imagined. But at 27 weeks, something shifted. I woke up at 6 in the morning to the smell of coffee and sound of Mom in the kitchen, humming the same song she'd hummed my entire childhood while making breakfast. I lay there listening, hand on my belly, and my son kicked hard, like he was saying, "Get up, move, life." Got up, found Mom at the stove making pancakes. She turned surprised. "You're awake." "I'm awake," she smiled, not with pity, with pride. "Good." Set the table. We ate breakfast together in comfortable silence. And for the first time in months, food tasted like something other than obligation. Tasted like home. After breakfast I showered. Really showered. Washed my hair. Shaved my legs. Put on clean clothes. Looked in the mirror and saw a person instead of a ghost. Still broken. Still scared. But present. I made a list. On paper. Like Mom had taught me as a kid when I felt overwhelmed. Break it into steps, Sarah. 1 thing at a time. 1. Find a doctor here. 2. Apply for Medicaid in this state. 3. Look for work I could do from home. 4. Start preparing for the baby. 5. Stop mourning what I lost and start building what I have. That afternoon I went for a walk. First time in weeks I'd been outside for more than necessary errands. The neighborhood was quiet. Trees, sidewalks, kids playing. Normal life continuing while mine had paused. I walked to the park 2 blocks away. Sat on a bench watching mothers with their children. A little boy, maybe 3, fell and scraped his knee. His mom scooped him up, kissed it better, and just like that he was fine. Ready to play again. That's what moms do. They kiss wounds and make everything okay. Could I do that? Could I be that person who made everything okay even when nothing was? I put my hand on my belly, felt my son move, and I made a decision, a real conscious decision. Not to give up, not to just survive, but to actually build something good. Something worthy of this child who didn't ask to be born into chaos. Took out my phone, opened my blocked contacts, found his number, and instead of unblocking him, I deleted it. Permanently. He didn't deserve space in my phone, in my head, in my life. Then I deleted his mother's number, his friends, anyone connected to that part of my life. I was burning bridges, not out of anger, out of necessity. I needed to move forward. And you can't do that while constantly looking back. On the walk home, I stopped at a thrift store. Found a rocking chair for $15. Worn but sturdy. I could picture myself in it. Rocking my son to sleep. Singing lullabies. Being the mother he deserved. Bought it. Strapped it to the top of my car with rope the store owner lent me. Drove home carefully, protective of my $15 symbol of hope. Mom helped me carry it inside. Set it in my room by the window. I sat in it, rocked gently, and cried. But these tears were different. Not despair. Release. I'm going to be okay, I told Mom. I know, baby. I've always known. That night I applied for remote customer service jobs. 10 applications. Then 20. Then 30. Sent my resume into the void and prayed something would stick. At midnight I got a response. An interview. For a position answering calls from home. $23 an hour. Benefits after 90 days. I read that email 3 times. Then I cried. Again. Grateful tears this time. The interview was 2 days later. Video call. I wore a nice shirt. Did my makeup. Prepared answers. And when they asked, "Tell us about yourself," I didn't mention the pregnancy. Didn't mention being abandoned. Just focused on my skills. My experience. What I could offer. Got the job. Started in 2 weeks. Work from home. Flexible hours. Healthcare after 3 months, right when the baby would be born. I called Mom at work to tell her. She cried. Happy tears. Proud tears. See, you're doing it. One step at a time. I celebrated by going to Goodwill and buying baby clothes. Tiny onesies. Soft blankets. A mobile with stars and moons. $5 total. I brought it home and washed everything by hand. Folded each piece carefully. Placed them in the dresser drawer Mom had cleared for me. My son's drawer. His things. His life starting to take shape. At 29 weeks, I felt him hiccup for the first time. Rhythmic little jumps in my belly. I laughed. Actually laughed. A sound I hadn't made in so long it felt foreign. I was sitting in my $15 rocking chair, hand on my belly, and I talked to him. Hi, sweet boy. I'm your mom. And I know things aren't perfect. I know you won't have a dad. But you'll have me. And your grandma. And so much love. I promise you so much love. He kicked in response. And I chose to believe he was saying, that's enough. You're enough. I started taking walks every evening. Building strength. Preparing my body for labor. Each step felt like progress. Like healing. Like becoming someone who could handle what was coming. One night I walked past a church. Heard singing inside. I'm not religious. Never have been. But something pulled me. Opened the door. Slipped into the back pew. And listened. A woman was singing. Olo. About grace. About second chances. About beauty from ashes. And I sat there, pregnant and alone in a church I'd never attended. And felt something I hadn't felt in months. When the song ended I left. But something stayed with me. A sense that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as alone as I thought. That maybe there was something bigger holding me. Guiding me. Refusing to let me fall. I didn't need to understand it. Just needed to feel it. That night, I wrote a letter to my son. In paper. In ink. Words I wanted him to read someday when he was old enough to understand. Dear son, you were born from loss. But you are not a loss. You are a gift. The greatest thing that will ever happen to me. Your father couldn't see that. But I can. And I will spend every day of my life making sure you know how wanted you are. How loved. How valued. You saved me. Before you were even born, you saved me. Love, Mom. Folded it, put it in an envelope, wrote "Open on your 18th birthday" on the front, and placed it in the baby box Mom had helped me start. 30 weeks, 10 weeks to go. I was ready. Not perfectly, not without fear, but ready. Ready to meet my son. Ready to start our life. Ready to prove that being abandoned doesn't mean you're abandoned. That being left doesn't mean you're lost. I was found. By my own strength. My own determination. My own refusal to let someone else's cowardice define my story. The rain had stopped. Spring was coming. And with it, new life. My son's life. Our life. And it was going to be beautiful. My son was born on a Tuesday morning at 6:47 a.m. 39 weeks and 3 days. Pounds 2 ounces. 20 inches long. Perfect. Labor was 22 hours. Mom held one hand. A nurse I'd never met held the other. No father in the waiting room. No partner coaching me through contractions. Just me, my body, and the hardest thing I'd ever done. When they placed him on my chest, wet and screaming and impossibly alive, I understood for the first time what love actually meant. Not the romantic kind. Not the conditional kind. But the kind that breaks you open and rebuilds you simultaneously. "Hi, baby," I whispered. "I'm your mom. I've been waiting for you." He stopped crying. Looked at me with dark, unfocused eyes. And I swear he knew. Knew my voice. Knew I was safe. Knew we belonged to each other. I named him Elijah. Strong. Aimless. A name that meant something. His middle name was James, after my father. The grandfather he'd never meet. But he'd carry the name. Carry the strength that came with it. The first night in the hospital I didn't sleep. Just watched him breathe. Counted his fingers and toes over and over. Memorized his face. This tiny human who had no idea his father had abandoned him. Who only knew warmth and milk and the sound of my heartbeat. "I won't let you down," I promised him. "I won't." Coming home was terrifying. Mom had set up a nursery in the corner of my room. Crib from a garage sale. Changing table she'd found on Facebook Marketplace. Everything secondhand but clean. Filled with love. The first week was a blur. Nursing every 2 hours. Diaper changes. Crying. So much crying. His and mine. I was exhausted to a level I didn't know existed. Bleeding. Hormonal. Wondering how anyone survived this. But Mom was there. Teaching me. Encouraging me. Taking him at 3 a.m. when I'd been up for 36 hours straight and needed to sleep before I broke. "I did this alone," she reminded me. "You're not alone. You have me." 2 weeks I started my remote job. Headset on. Elijah in a bassinet next to my desk. I'd answer customer service calls while watching him sleep. Mute button ready for when he cried. It was chaos, but it was working. My first paycheck came. $900 after taxes. I stared at that direct deposit like it was $1 million. 'Cause it was mine. Earned while caring for my son. Proof I could do both. I opened a savings account. Put $50 in it. Then did it again with the next check. And the next. Building something. Brick by brick. Dollar by dollar. 6 weeks, Elijah smiled at me. A real smile. Not gas. Not coincidence. He looked at my face and his whole expression lit up. Cried. Called Mom into the room. Looked. He smiled. "He knows me." "Of course he knows you," she said softly. "You're his whole world." His whole world. The responsibility of that should have crushed me. Instead, it lifted me. I was somebody's whole world. And I would be the best world I could be. 3 months. Elijah was sleeping longer stretches. 4 hours. Then 5. I was functioning like a human again. Started exercising. Just walking around the neighborhood with him in a stroller. But movement. Progress. Reclaiming my body. My strength. I got promoted at work. Team lead. $3 more an hour. More responsibility but better hours. I could work while he napped. Be present when he was awake. It wasn't perfect, but it was sustainable. 6 months. Elijah started solid foods. I made everything from scratch. Couldn't afford fancy organic pouches. So I steamed vegetables, mashed them, froze them in ice cube trays. He ate better than I did. Always would. He came first. Always. A teacher position opened up at a local preschool. Better pay than customer service. Benefits. Classroom again. My passion. I applied. Got an interview. Brought Elijah with me because I had no choice. He's 6 months old, I explained. My mom watches him during work hours, but she had a doctor's appointment today. I'm sorry. The director smiled. Don't apologize. I'm a single mom too. When can you start? I wanted to hug her. I kissed the ground. Instead, I said professionally, 2 weeks. Perfect. 9 months. Elijah was crawling into everything, curious and fearless. I baby-proofed Mom's house. Outlet covers, cabinet locks, gates everywhere. And I watched him explore his world with wonder I'd forgotten existed. I was making enough to contribute to household expenses, buy our own groceries, start paying Mom back for everything she'd done. She refused. Save it for Eli, for his future. That's payment enough. 1 year. Elijah's first birthday. We had a small party. Just Mom, Jenna, Lisa, and a couple of other single moms I'd met at the park. Simple cake. Dollar store decorations. But Elijah laughed and smashed cake into his face and didn't know we were poor. Didn't know his dad wasn't there. Just knew he was loved. Jenna pulled me aside. You're amazing. You know that. I don't know how you do it. I just do, I said. Because the alternative isn't an option. 18 months. I'd saved $3,000. $3,000. Felt impossible. But there it was in my account. Emergency fund. Security. Proof I was building something. Elijah said his first word. Mama. Not de. Never de. Mama. Me. The one who stayed. Who showed up. Who chose him every single day. 2 years. I moved out of Mom's house. Into a small apartment. Just 2 bedrooms. But it was ours. Eli's room had a window with morning sun. Painted it blue. Put up stars that glowed at night. Made it magic. Our first night there, I rocked him to sleep in the $15 chair I'd bought years ago. Now worn smooth from use. And I looked around at our tiny imperfect home and felt pride. Deep bone deep pride. I did this. Me. The woman who'd been abandoned in the rain. The woman who'd almost given up. Who'd cried on bathroom floors and considered ending it all. I'd survived. And not just survived. I'd built a life. A good life. A life my son would be proud of. We didn't have much. But we had enough. And enough was everything. 3 years of peace. Of building. Of healing. 3 years where I'd almost convinced myself that chapter was closed. That he was just a ghost from another life. A cautionary tale I'd tell Eli someday when he was old enough to understand. I was wrong. It was a Saturday. Grocery shopping with Eli in the cart. He was singing the ABC song wrong, missing half the letters, making up his own melody. I was laughing, recording him on my phone, living in a moment of pure ordinary joy. And then I heard my name. Sarah. That voice. I knew it before I turned around. Had heard it in nightmares. In memories I'd tried to bury. In the silent spaces where anger used to live. Turned. And there he was. Standing in the cereal aisle of a suburban grocery store. Older. Thinner. Nervous. Real. Time stopped. My heart hammered so hard I thought I'd collapse right there. Eli kept singing, oblivious. Living in his innocent world where monsters didn't exist. I can't believe it's you, he said, stepping closer. I stepped back. Instinctive. Protective. Put myself between him and the cart. Between him and my son. Don't. My voice came out cold. Sharp. A weapon. Don't come closer. He stopped. Hands up in surrender. I'm sorry. I've been looking for you. 4 years. You found me. Congratulations. Now leave. His eyes drifted to Eli. To the 3-year-old singing in the cart. Dark hair. His eyes. Undeniably, his features mixed with mine. The recognition on his face was instant. Devastating. Is that none of your business? I grabbed the cart, started to walk away. Sarah, please. Just 5 minutes. Please. People were staring. A woman with a baby gave me a concerned look. I was shaking, visibly shaking. Eli noticed. Mommy, you okay? I forced a smile. I'm fine, baby. Just saw someone I used to know. Can we get the dinosaur cereal? Yes. Whatever you want. I pushed the cart toward the checkout. He followed. At a distance but following. I could feel his presence like a shadow. Heavy. Suffocating. Bringing back every moment of pain I'd worked so hard to overcome. In the parking lot, while I buckled Eli into his car seat, he approached again. Slowly. Carefully. Like I was a wild animal he might spook. I know I don't deserve anything from you, he said. I know I'm the worst kind of person. But I need you to know. I regret it. Every day. I regret leaving. I finished buckling Eli. Closed his door. Turned to face him fully for the first time in 3 years. You regret it. Yes. You regret abandoning me. Pregnant. In the rain. You regret not being there for his birth. His first word. His first steps. You regret 3 years of him not knowing he has a father. Yes. All of it. I was scared. Panicked. I made the worst mistake of my life. I laughed. Sound without humor. You don't get to do this. You don't get to show up and say you're sorry and expect that to mean anything. I'm not expecting anything. I needed you to know. And I wanted to ask. Can I meet him? Can I be part of his life? The audacity. The absolute audacity of this man. His name is Elijah, I said quietly. Dangerously. And no. You can't meet him. You can't be part of his life. You gave up that right when you drove away. I'm his father. You're a sperm donor. Father shows up. Father stays. You're nothing to him. And that's how it's going to stay. I have legal rights. Do it. Cut him off. Take me to court. Try to get custody. Visitation. Whatever you think you're entitled to. And I will bring every text message. Every ignored call. Every witness to your abandonment. I will make sure the judge knows exactly who you are. And you will lose. His face crumbled. I'm different now. I'm in therapy. Have a good job. I'm ready to be a dad. That's wonderful. Truly. But not to my son. You don't get to practice your redemption arc on him. Find another way to fix yourself. From inside the car, Eli called out. Mommy, can we go? I'm hungry. 1 second, baby. I looked at him one more time. This man who'd shaped my entire life by leaving it. And I felt nothing. Not anger. Not hatred. Not even satisfaction at turning him away. Just nothing. Goodbye, I said. Final. Absolute. Got in my car. Started the engine. And drove away. In my rearview mirror, I watched him standing in that parking lot, getting smaller and smaller until he disappeared. Who was that man? I asked. No one, sweetheart. No one important. That night, after Eli was asleep, I sat in my living room shaking. Not from fear. From adrenaline. From the weight of what had happened. He'd found us. After 3 years of silence, he'd found us. My phone rang. Unknown number. I knew it was him. Let it go to voicemail. Rang again. And again. 10 times in an hour. Finally, I answered. Stop calling. Please, Sarah. Just hear me out. I know I don't deserve. You're right. Don't. So stop asking for what you don't deserve. I'm his father. That has to count for something. It counts for nothing. Biology isn't parenting. DNA isn't love. You weren't there. It was. Every sleepless night. Every fever. Every nightmare. Every milestone. Me. Not you. Never you. I want to change that. Too late. It's never too late. It is for us. Took a breath. Steadied myself. I don't hate you anymore. That's the truth. I don't feel anything for you. You're just a person who made a choice. And I made a choice too. To build a life without you. A good life. And I'm not letting you destroy that because you suddenly feel guilty. I'm not trying to destroy anything. I want to be part of. I have to go. Hung up, blocked the number, and sat in the darkness of my apartment. Hand over my mouth, processing. He'd found us. The ghost had become real. The past had crashed into my carefully constructed present. And for the first time in 3 years I felt genuine fear. Not fear of him. Fear that the courts might give him rights. That Eli might have to know this man who'd abandoned him. That my son's innocence might be shattered by the truth I'd worked so hard to protect him from. Called my mom. She answered on the first ring. What's wrong? I told her everything. The grocery store. Conversation. Fear. What if he takes me to court? What if a judge gives him visitation? What if I have to share my son with the man who destroyed me? Then we fight, she said simply. We document everything. We get a lawyer. We show the truth. And we trust that justice exists. But Sarah, don't let fear steal your peace. You've worked too hard for that. She was right. I'd worked too hard. Bled too much. Sacrificed too much. And I wasn't letting him take one more thing from me. Not one more thing. He filed for custody 2 weeks later. The papers arrived certified mail. Petition for paternity establishment and shared custody. My hands shook reading the legal jargon that translated to. He wanted my son. Half-time, weekends, holidays. Like the 3 years of absence could be erased with a signature. Hired a lawyer. Rebecca Chin. 45 years old. Single mom herself. She looked at my case and said, "We're going to win. But it won't be easy. And it won't be clean." She was right on both counts. The court date was set for 8 weeks out. 8 weeks of living in limbo. Of waking up at 3 a.m. in panic. Of watching Eli play and thinking, what if I have to send him away? What if the system fails us? Rebecca told me to document everything. So I did. Created a timeline. Every unanswered call. Every ignored text. Every penny I'd spent alone. Every milestone he'd missed. Every doctor's appointment. Every school event. 3 years of evidence that I was the parent. The only parent. He hired a lawyer too. Expensive one. Showed up to court in a tailored suit. Hair perfect. Playing the part of reformed man. Redeemed father. Second chance seeker. The hearing was brutal. His lawyer painted me as vindictive. Unforgiving. Keeping a father from his child out of spite. They presented his therapy records. His stable job. His remorse. Made him look like the victim. Then Rebecca stood up. Your Honor, my client isn't keeping a father from his child. She's protecting her child from a stranger. A man who abandoned her when she was 7 weeks pregnant. Who blocked her calls when she begged for help. Who paid $0 in support. Who didn't even know his son's name until he ran into them by accident at a grocery store. She pulled out the timeline. The screenshots. The receipts. 3 years of evidence mounted like a wall between him and my son. This man wants credit for showing up now. But showing up after 3 years of silence isn't parenting. It's convenience. It's guilt. And frankly, Your Honor, it's too late. His lawyer objected. Argued. Claimed he had rights. That DNA mattered. That children need fathers. Rebecca didn't flinch. Children need consistency. They need stability. They need adults who show up when it's hard, not just when it's convenient. My client has given her son all of that. The petitioner has given nothing. The judge called a recess. 30 minutes that felt like 30 years. I sat in the hallway, head in my hands, praying to a God I wasn't sure I believed in. When we returned, the judge looked tired, like she'd seen this story too many times. I've reviewed the evidence. And while I believe in second chances, I believe more in protecting children. My heart stopped. The petitioner abandoned this child. Failed to provide support. Made no attempt at contact for 3 years. And while his current remorse may be genuine, it doesn't erase the harm done. Petition for custody is denied. I couldn't breathe, couldn't process. Rebecca squeezed my hand. We won. But the judge wasn't done. However, I'm granting supervised visitation, 1 hour per week. Supervised by a court-appointed professional. We'll revisit in 6 months. My victory felt hollow. Supervised meant safe. But it still meant Eli would know him, would be confused, would have questions I didn't know how to answer. Outside the courtroom, he approached me. His lawyer tried to stop him, but he pushed past. I know you hate me, but I'm going to prove I've changed. I'm going to be the father he deserves. You can't be what you never were, I said quietly. But you can try. For his sake. Not yours. His. The first supervised visit was the hardest thing I'd ever watched. Eli clung to me. Why do I have to meet this man? Because he's someone who wants to know you. But I don't know him. I know, baby. But maybe you'll want to. And that's okay. Whatever you feel is okay. I sat in the waiting room for that hour. Watched through a window as he tried to talk to Eli. Brought toys. Smiled too wide. Tried too hard. And Eli sat distant. Confused. Protective of himself in a way no 3-year-old should have to be. When the hour ended, Eli ran to me. Buried his face in my legs. Didn't look back. How was it? Asked gently. He's weird. Can we go home? Yes, baby. We can go home. The visits continued. Weekly. Supervised. Awkward. He'd send gifts to the house. Big, expensive things that Eli played with once and forgot. Trying to buy affection he hadn't earned. 3 months in, the supervisor pulled me aside. He's trying. I'll give him that. But your son doesn't connect with him. Doesn't trust him. Kids know. They always know. At the 6-month review, the judge asked Eli questions. In her chambers. Gently. Do you like visiting with Mr. Peterson? Eli shrugged. He's okay. Would you like to see him more? No. I just want my mommy. The judge looked at me. Him. And made her decision. Visitation will continue as supervised. No overnight stays. No extension of time. We'll review again in 1 year. He deflated. Had expected more. Had thought a few months of showing up would erase 3 years of absence. Sighed. He stopped me one last time. I can't win, can I? No matter what I do. This isn't about winning, I said, exhausted. It's about Eli. And what's best for him. You want to be his father. Then be patient. Earn his trust. Show up consistently for years, not months. Maybe then you'll mean something to him. But maybe you won't. And you'll have to accept that. I destroyed us, didn't I? Everything. Yes, I said simply. You did. And now you get to live with that. Just like I had to. I walked away. Eli's hand in mine. And I realized something profound. I didn't need the court to punish him. Life already had. He'd lost 3 years he could never get back. Lost the first smile. The first word. The first everything. Lost the bond that forms when you show up in the hardest moments. He had to watch his son not know him. Not want him. Not need him. And that was a heavier punishment than any judge could give. The best revenge wasn't destroying him. It was succeeding without him. It was raising a happy, healthy, loved child who didn't need a father because he had everything that mattered. He won. Not in court. In life. And that was the only victory that mattered. A year after the court case, something unexpected happened. I stopped being angry. Not overnight. Not dramatically. Just gradually. Like ice melting so slowly you don't notice until it's water. I'd go days without thinking about him. Then weeks. The bitterness that had lived in my chest for so long just dissolved. Eli was 4.5. Smart. Funny. Kind. Everything good about me and nothing bad about him. He still did the supervised visits. Still came home saying he's weird and asking if we could skip next week. But he wasn't traumatized. Wasn't damaged. Was just a kid with a complicated family situation he'd understand better someday. One morning, getting Eli ready for preschool, he asked the question I'd been dreading. "Mommy, why don't I have a daddy like the other kids?" Could have lied. Could have deflected. But I'd promised myself I'd always tell him age-appropriate truth. "You have a biological father, the man you visit sometimes. But he wasn't ready to be a daddy when you were born. So it's been just you and me. And Grandma. And we're a family. Families look different. And that's okay." But why wasn't he ready? Because being a parent is really hard. And scary. And he didn't know how to be brave. But that wasn't your fault. Or mine. It was his choice. Eli thought about this. "Are you brave, Mommy?" My throat tightened. "I try to be. For you." He hugged me. "You're the bravest. You're my superhero." And just like that, the little boy I'd been terrified I'd fail had given me the validation I'd been searching for. Not from courts. Not from society. From him. The only opinion that mattered. That afternoon, I did something I never thought I'd do. I wrote him a letter. Not via lawyer. Not angry. Just honest. "I forgive you. Not because you've earned it. Not because you deserve it. But because carrying anger was exhausting. And I'm tired of giving you space in my head. You made a choice that devastated me. That changed my entire life trajectory. But it also gave me Eli. And he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So in a twisted way, your worst moment created my best one. I don't need your apology. Don't need your remorse. I just need you to understand that forgiveness isn't for you. It's for me. It's my release. My freedom. You don't control my narrative anymore. You do. And my story is beautiful now. Despite you. 'Cause of me. I hope you find peace with your choices." I finally have. Mailed it. Felt lighter immediately. Didn't wait for a response. Didn't need one. The letter was for me. My closure. My ending to a chapter that had been open too long. 2 weeks later he wrote back. I almost threw it away unopened. But curiosity won. "Thank you. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm grateful for it. You're right. I can't undo what I did. Can't get back what I lost." Watching Eli grow through these visits, seeing how happy he is, how loved, knowing I had no part in building that. It's the hardest thing I've ever experienced. You gave him everything I never could. Stability, consistency, unconditional love. And I have to live knowing I missed it because I was a coward. I'm in therapy. Really doing the work. Not to get him back. I know that ship sailed. But to become someone who could have been worthy of him. Of you. Sorry. I'll never stop being sorry. But I understand that sorry isn't enough. Thank you for being what he needed when I wasn't. I read it twice. Felt nothing. No vindication. No satisfaction. Just acknowledgement. He understood. Finally. And that was enough. I started therapy too. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted to be whole. Wanted to process the trauma I'd survived. Wanted to teach Eli healthy coping mechanisms by modeling them myself. My therapist asked me once, "What do you want him to know about his father?" Thought about it. Really thought. I want him to know that people are complicated. That his father wasn't a villain. Just a scared man who made a terrible choice. And that one bad choice doesn't define a whole person. But it does have consequences. And those consequences ripple. I want Eli to learn that actions matter. That showing up matters. That love is verb, not a feeling. And what do you want him to know about you? That I fought for him. Every day. That he was never a burden. Never a mistake. That he's the reason I became strong. The reason I discovered who I really am. That being his mother is the greatest privilege of my life. She smiled. I think you're doing just fine. I started dating. Casually. Nothing serious. But dipping my toes back into trust. Into vulnerability. Into believing that not all men leave. A teacher at Eli's school. Divorced. 2 kids of his own. He asked me to coffee. Said yes. On our 3rd date I told him everything. Expected him to run. Instead, he said, "Thank you for trusting me with that." And for the record, his loss. Completely. It didn't work out long term. But it taught me I could open my heart again without breaking it. That the scars didn't have to stop me from living. Eli started kindergarten. Thriving. Had friends. Loved learning. Drew pictures of our family. Him grandma. Sometimes he'd add his biological father in the corner. Separate. Acknowledging his existence without centering him. Perfect. His teacher pulled me aside at conferences. Eli is remarkably well-adjusted. Emotionally intelligent. Empathetic. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. What I was doing was loving him. Showing up. Being honest. Creating stability. The basics that somehow became extraordinary when one parent does it alone. 5 years after that rainy night, I stood in my own house. Not an apartment. House. 3 bedrooms. Backyard where Eli played. Saved. Worked. Built. Achieved something I'd thought impossible when I was broke and pregnant and terrified. I stood in that backyard watching Eli on his swing set. Heard him laughing. And I thought about the woman in the rain. The one who thought her life was over. Who believed being abandoned meant being destroyed. I wanted to go back and tell her, "You're going to be okay. Better than okay. You're going to be extraordinary. Not because you're special, but because you're stubborn. Because you love harder than you hurt. Because that baby inside you will give you purpose when you have none. He'll save you. And you'll save him right back." Forgiveness wasn't weakness. It was strength. It was choosing peace over pain. It was releasing poison I'd been drinking hoping it would hurt him. It was freedom. And the lesson was simple. People will fail you. Life will knock you down. Plans will crumble. But you're more resilient than you know. Stronger than you believe. Capable of miracles when you stop waiting for rescue and become your own hero. I didn't need him to complete my story. I was the story. Eli was the story. Our life was the story. And it was beautiful. Hard won. Imperfect. Real. Beautiful. Today Elijah is 7 years old. 7 years of life. Laughter. Of love that never needed his father to be complete. He's in 2nd grade now. Reads above his level. Loves dinosaurs and space and asking impossible questions I have to Google. He has my stubbornness and, I'll admit, some of his father's curiosity. But everything that matters, that came from us. From the life we built together. The supervised visit stopped a year ago. Not because of court drama. Because his father moved across the country for a job. Sent a letter saying he'd stay in touch. Sent birthday cards twice. Called on Christmas. And that's okay. Eli barely notices. His life is full without him. He has friends. Sleepovers. Little league. A childhood that's normal and safe, and everything I was terrified I couldn't give him. He doesn't feel the absence of a father because he's never lacked for love. For presence. For someone showing up. Got promoted. I'm an assistant principal now. Leading teachers. Shaping policy. Making enough that we're not just surviving. We're comfortable. We take small vacations. I have a savings account with 5 figures. 5. The woman who couldn't afford prenatal vitamins now has financial security. I bought a newer car last year. Nothing fancy, but reliable. With good airbags and working heat. Eli helped me pick the color. Blue. His favorite. Mom is still my rock. Still watches Eli when I need her. Still calls every Sunday. Still reminds me how far I've come when I forget. She's 68 now. Slower. Grayer. But still fierce. Still my hero. Last month I went back to that bookstore where we met. Not for nostalgia. Just because I needed a book. And standing in that same aisle, I remembered the woman I was. Young. Hopeful. Naive. Who believed love stories end happily ever after. I'm not her anymore. Better. Stronger. Wiser. I've seen the worst of human nature and the best of my own resilience. I've been broken and rebuilt myself into something more beautiful than the original. If I could go back to that rainy night. To the woman standing soaked on the sidewalk watching taillights disappear. I'd tell her this. He's going to leave. And it's going to destroy you. You're going to cry until you can't breathe. You're going to question everything. Your worth, your future, your ability to survive. And there will be moments, dark, terrible moments, where you won't want to continue. But you will. You'll continue because inside you is a little boy who needs you, who chose you, who will make every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every struggle worth it. He's going to smile at you and call you mama, and you'll understand why you had to go through hell. Because he was waiting on the other side. You're going to become someone you don't recognize. Harder, braver, less tolerant of bullshit, less willing to shrink yourself. You're going to discover that being left doesn't mean you're not enough. Means he wasn't. And years from now, you'll stand in your own house, watching your son play in your backyard, and you'll realize something profound. He didn't take anything from you when he left. He gave you everything. He gave you purpose, strength, the chance to discover who you are when no one's watching, when no one's applauding, when it's just you and your child and the choice to give up or get up. You'll choose to get up. Every single time. The rain will stop. Promise. The sun will come out. And you'll build a life so beautiful, so full, so authentically yours that you'll look back and thank him for leaving. Because if he'd stayed, you'd never have become this version of yourself. The version that can handle anything, survive everything, love harder than you ever thought possible. So to anyone listening to this story, anyone who's been left, abandoned, told they weren't enough, I want you to hear this clearly. You are enough. You've always been enough. Someone else's inability to see your value doesn't diminish it. It reveals their limitations, not yours. Being a single parent isn't a tragedy. It's not a failure. It's not something to pity. It's one of the most badass things a human can do. You're everything to another person. Their world. Their security. Their proof that love exists. That's not a consolation prize. That's a privilege. Will it be hard? Brutally hard. Will there be days you want to quit? Absolutely. Will people judge you? They will. But will you survive? Will you thrive? Will your child know they're loved? Without question. Elijah asked me last week if I ever wish his father had stayed. Thought about it. Really thought. And I answered honestly. No, baby. Because if he'd stayed, I wouldn't have learned how strong I am. And you wouldn't have the mom you have now. Everything happened exactly how it needed to. He hugged me. I'm glad it's just us, mommy. Me too, baby. Me too. So if this story found you in your storm, in your rain, in your moment of abandonment and fear, know this: you're going to make it. The pain you feel today will become wisdom tomorrow. The tears will become strength. And that baby, that child, that life depending on you, they're not your burden. They're your purpose, your redemption, your proof that you're capable of miracles. He left me pregnant in the rain. Thought I'd drown. Thought I'd break. Thought I'd disappear into the storm. But I didn't drown. I learned to swim. I didn't break. Became unbreakable. I didn't disappear. I became impossible to ignore. And I gave my child everything. Everything his father never could. Presence. Consistency. Unconditional love. A childhood built on stability instead of promises. A mother who shows up. Always. That's my story. That's my truth. That's my victory. And if you're in your storm right now, this is my promise to you. The rain will stop. The sun will rise. And you will be standing. Stronger than before. Ready for whatever comes next. Because you're not just surviving. You're becoming. And who you're becoming is extraordinary. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing that stories like mine matter. That single mothers aren't cautionary tales. We're warriors. We're heroes. We're proof that love doesn't need two parents to be complete. Share this if it touched you. If you know someone in their storm who needs to hear they'll make it through. Because we rise by lifting each other. You're not alone. You never were.